Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Hello. It's good to see everybody. Welcome to the people who are commenting and also to the listeners who never comment. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I'm Mary Grace, and you're watching Real Talk with Mary Grace. It is Thursday, the 25th of March, 2021. And we're just going to have a little chit chat. Welcome, everybody. Glad you're here. Good to see all the people on Facebook. Please come in and have a chat. Share this with groups. If you're on YouTube, please please subscribe and hit the bell and then hit the thumbs up so that you don't miss an episode. And also comment during the live show, and then also comment afterwards. Those comments help to get me noticed in the stream, so it gets my show noticed. So it's good to see everybody. I'm glad you're here. Glad you guys like the show. It's very good to see people. Thank you to all of you who have been responding and ordering superfoods. A lot of people are going to be springing into wellness this spring, and it's a good time to do that. So if you still haven't ordered, or if you got a coupon code a while back and you didn't use it, send me an email so that I can give you another one. And if you ordered a while back and you haven't ordered in quite some time and you want to reorder and you want to see if you can still get a discount, I can show you how to do that. So just send me an email, info@marygracemedia.com, and we'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. But I'm just looking at your comments here. The topic of the day is Sleepy Joe's press conference. I know that some of you watched it. I saw snippets of it. That's about all I can handle, you know? I mean, these people are just crazy. So if you have questions about superfoods, just hold them till the end or send me an email, because we're going to jump into the news for now. I see some of your questions, but go ahead and just send me an email, info@marygracemedia.com, or wait till the end to give me your questions. So, um, I there's something really strange going on. First of all, I'm going to read you a tweet by MZ Hemingway. I thought this was apropos. Molly Hemingway. She said that was easily the most painful presidential press conference I've ever seen. Difficult to watch Biden struggle. Horrifically bad questions from compliant and corrupt and meek partisan media. And, the thing is, George reported this morning that all of the questions were solicited ahead of time, and uh, that they were reviewed, and that the responses and that the media were given assigned seats, and that Joe had a seating chart to know who was who and who to call on, and he had scripted answers. I don't know that I would call that a press conference. That's more like a speech. That's like a planned speech. And so, and there's nothing wrong with that, but don't call it a press conference. Yeah. So that's something really that is important to distinguish. And so, these people are not known for telling the truth. And I apologize. I put a post in the Telegram room that said that the press conference had been taken down, and that was that was a mistake. It was fake news. So I removed it, but I went and looked on the White House website, and Sleepy Joe, okay, the president who got 81 million votes had 6.3 thousand views on a press conference. That was from a press conference that was several hours ago, and several hours ago, and so that's including replays. Go back and look at the press briefings that President Trump gave. If you think about it, during the coronavirus, nobody could stop watching. I mean, how about you? I watched every single briefing during the virus, hours at a time, and they had hundreds of thousands of views, if not millions, and across multiple platforms. And so, this guy comes out for the first press conference since he got inaugurated, and it's a lackluster performance. He gets canned questions. He's handled with kid gloves by the media, and we're still supposed to believe that he got more votes than any president ever, any candidate ever in the history of American politics. Does anybody want to ask your friends that, who voted for that man, who think that he's legitimately the president? Anybody that can do math, that's not doing COVID math, CDC math, or Common Core math, those don't count. Come on, guys. This is obvious. It's so obvious that this guy is not our president. And here's the thing that really gets me. Here's the thing that really gets me is that they turn off the comments on his they turn off the comments on his press briefings. Do you remember? Now, first of all, why would they do that? If all the love in the world was directed toward this man because everybody loved him, because more people than ever turned out for this person, wouldn't they welcome the comments from his adoring fans? But no, they turn off the comments. And here's the thing, a federal judge actually ruled when President Trump was in office that he was not allowed to block users on Twitter because he was a public servant, and that he had to give equal access to his constituents. Do you remember that? So I don't understand how it's legal. I think someone could legally challenge this. So how can they block the comments on an official government channel on social media? Why doesn't that rule apply to Joe Biden? Why does it apply only to President Trump? For the same reason that how can they ban the president of the United States? It's such a it's if there were no double standards, they have no standards at all. Because think about this. They told the president that he couldn't block people, and then they banned him. So effectively blocking every single person that needed access to the president. They literally canceled their own rule. This is how communism works, people. Rules for thee, but not for me. Some animals are more equal than others. Do as I say, not as I do. That's how this works, in case you're wondering. Right? I mean, that's beyond irony. It's just total and complete hypocrisy. But no, everybody's just pretending like it doesn't happen. Everybody's just pretending this is all fine. That's not true. Everybody's not pretending. The whole world knows. The entire world knows that this is not working. That this is not our president. That something is terribly wrong. That the emperor has no clothes and no mind. That's what everybody knows. Everybody sees that. Everybody knows that. I don't think it's gonna be much longer. I don't know that it's gonna be easy in the meantime, but I don't think it's gonna be much longer. And if you listen to the prophets of doom and the pessimism porn, you think that our country is doomed and that nothing is going to change and that we are completely lost, that the whole world is forever in the grips of globalist communist agenda. I don't happen to believe that. I believe that there is an awakening happening. I believe that people are starting to really see, and people are starting to get very concerned. People who had no idea before that any of this was happening. And I'll just give you an example. Um, I'll give you an example. I was listening to Johnny Enlow on Elijah Streams, and he was talking about his topic was dead giveaway, and he was saying, like, when everything is banned, when the things that everybody's talking about are banned, it's a dead giveaway that it's probably true. And so but he was talking about conspiracy theories, and most of you know by now that was a term that was coined by the CIA to label and dismiss people who question the official narrative of a story. They just put them in the crazy box and said, "Oh, that's just a conspiracy theory." And here's the thing. The term conspiracy theory is supposed to be derogatory. That's the whole idea. It's a pejorative term, and it's meant to put down the person. However, yeah, it was coined at the time when people started questioning the death of JFK. Thank you, Minnie. And so, however, if you think about it, any theory having to do with something that doesn't actually seem right, with something, where the pieces don't seem to fall into place, anytime you have a theory about something that could be a conspiracy, it is a conspiracy theory. If it was a conspiracy to kill somebody, then and you have a theory about what might have happened, it is a conspiracy theory. The problem with that term is that any just like the mainstream media has done for so long, because they are the programming propaganda arm of the deep state, they have taken that term and used it in a pejorative way to make it look like the subject of the term is crazy. So they've equated it with tinfoil hat conspiracy nuts that are missing a few marbles. Okay. So yeah, I think Pat has a good point. What they really mean is that it's a crazy nutcase theory. That's what they've equated that term with. But conspiracy theory, hi Jim, good to see you. Um, I was just thinking about you today. So but the term conspiracy theory is really a legitimate term. And the left are actually the most prolific conspiracy theorists out there. They spent years telling us that Russia stole the election, that Russia meddled in our election. That was a theory, and it was a theory about a conspiracy. And it was a theory that was proven incorrect. But we weren't allowed to call it a conspiracy theory because that would imply that the people that were peddling it were batshit, and sorry about that that they were insane, and that they had no standing, that their argument had no standing. But we weren't allowed to say that because it was their theory. And so when it's their theory, you're not allowed to call it a conspiracy theory. It's all true. And the fact checkers, aka Snopes, will tell you that you're wrong and that they're right. So you see how they twist the language? They always do that. That's something that they've done for a long time. Those are Alinsky tactics. You accuse the other people of doing exactly what you're doing. So when you have control of the media and you are using the taxpayer money to peddle your crap, you can call it whatever you want. And you can label the people who disagree with you as conspiracy theorists, when in fact, conspiracy theorists are the ones who turn out to be in the right. Everything that we talked about over the years is actually true. And James O'Keefe was put up a video that of an exchange that he had with a Belgian reporter, and the Belgian reporter was accusing him of pushing conspiracy theories, and uh, and it was very interesting because James O'Keefe turned it back on him, um, and he said, "Name one story that we have done that is a conspiracy theory that has not proven to be true. Tell me what you mean. What do you mean by conspiracy theory?" And he turned it back on him totally. And the reporter was completely stuck in his own narrative. And and then James O'Keefe turned it right back on him and said, "Actually, what you're doing is peddling conspiracy theories because nothing that you're saying is backed up in fact, and you are projecting on me the very thing that you're doing." It was brilliant. It was so well done. And so, snaps, kudos to O'Keefe. Have you guys noticed how buff he is? He and Tom Fitton, those guys must work out together. I guess when you're uncovering deep state dark secrets, you have to be in really good shape, because you never know when somebody's going to jump you in a dark alley, right? Um, so that those two guys are just like they're like beefsteaks. Um, so pretty funny. So somebody, Greg on YouTube is saying he uses the term dark agenda instead of conspiracy theory. I think that's a good way to say it. So, the truth of the matter is that we're actually winning. And it's fun to be winning. It's fun to be winning, um but they still have control of the media, so they're making it seem like we're not. And so, oh, by the way, if you're a troll and you somehow find your way into my Telegram chat, and then you get your comments deleted, and then you try to lecture me about how I'm not allowed to delete your comments in my Telegram chat, you might want to find another line of work, because literally it's my Telegram chat. And so, also, guys, if you're invited into the Telegram chat, please don't share the link. People have to email me for that or get invited personally, because we had this ridiculous troll in there today. And so I deleted his comment, and then he came back for more. And he's like, "Why did you delete my comment?" He was so rude. That's why I deleted it. Did you guys see that? Some of you saw it. He was just rude. I mean, it's one thing to point out something that's inaccurate in a polite way. And and it's one thing to point out something that's inaccurate or to question something, but to come in my Telegram using bad language and criticizing me, I'm like, yeah, just no. Off you go. Go away. Go away. I I deported him. He was just so rude. Yeah, and so they're so condescending, right? Anyway, I don't know how this person got into my Telegram, but they're gone. They didn't last long. So, um, yeah, I haven't had to do that in a while. Usually I get the trolls on Periscope, but this one somehow got in my Telegram. So whoever it is that shared the link with that person, please don't do that again if you're in my Telegram. Yeah. Um, I know. I know. I mean, it's one thing to banter back and forth with Todd, but that's not the same. bantering back and forth, that's what keeps it lively. And you guys had me laughing the other night. It was really funny. I was laughing. I was laughing at the whole conversation that was going back and forth in the Telegram with Todd. So that's a healthy banter. That's great. That's what we want. We want to encourage that. But don't roll up in my Telegram and somehow start insulting me and telling me that you have a right to be there. That's like coming in somebody's house and being really rude, and then when you show them the door, they get mad. No, that doesn't work that way. And there's something about this culture right now where people feel like they have this license to just to insult people and to be rude, and the face diaper seems to give them even more uh, courage to do that because they're hiding behind that stupid thing. I think next time, if anybody confronts me again, especially any men confront me about that, I'm just going to say, look, take that thing off and talk to me like a man. See if you have any courage if you're not behind that stupid face diaper. Yeah, how insulting are you going to be then? Are you just going to be a big bully regardless? Because have you noticed like these men have turned into bullies? Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, Todd is my wingman. We love Todd. Um, it is a good idea, isn't it, Minnie? Like, I dare you to take that thing off and then say something to me. No, my Todd Headley, my wingman. So, yeah, I mean, they're rude. These men, they hide behind that ridiculous face diaper. Too much soy, not enough superfoods. There you go. Our superfoods are soy free. Um, we do need another PJ party. Okay. So I wanted to talk about the ship. Oh, look. Dan Scavino um put on that President Trump is going to be interviewed tonight by Laura Ingram. She's not my favorite, but Dan Scavino is posting it and telling us to watch. I just saw this pop up. Uh um So tonight at 10 o'clock, Laura Ingram is interviewing President Trump. Interesting. Isn't it interesting how the president has been doing more interviews and he's coming back on the heels of Sleepy Joe. I think that he should do an interview or a press conference every time Joe does anything. I think it's good. Um, Did I hear Ted Cruz's response to somebody during a speech when they asked him to put on a mask? No, what did he say? I would like to know. Um, um, yeah, Biden said he missed Trump. Wasn't that interesting? I want to take a poll for a minute. Does anybody think that this person is actually Joe? Like the Joe that was in the Senate, that was the vice president? I just want to know. I know that people's appearances can change. He told them to leave. Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, so let's see how many views the president gets tonight when he does the interview with Laura Ingram. That'll be very interesting, won't it? Um, he told him to leave. I want to see that. He also, yeah, he's been in the Okay, hold on. The chat just went really fast. Kat Kerr mentioned Trump will start his media network because he hates being booted off by Facebook and others. Not the real Joe, not a chance. Nobody thinks he is. Do you think it, I mean, is it an actor? It's a double? I know people think, okay, here we go. This is a conspiracy theory. It legit is a conspiracy theory because we are theorizing that there is a conspiracy to replace the resident in chief with an actor. That is a conspiracy theory, but I'm not crazy. I'm just asking. So, I think I think it's interesting. I mean, I the structure of your face, I mean, people can have cosmetic surgery. Look at Michael Jackson. I mean, his appearance changed dramatically through surgery. You know, so but the person that is there, one of the big differences between that person and the previous Joe is the earlobes. That's one thing people look at is, you know, if the earlobes droop down or if they're attached, and they're not the same. You think it's him with plastic surgery? You think it's somebody thinks it's real life masks, plastic surgery, dementia, brainwashed, an actor with a mask, a cyborg. Wouldn't that be illegal to impersonate a president? Well, Kathy on Facebook, it would be illegal to impersonate a president if you were impersonating an actual president. But if you're impersonating the resident in chief, I don't know if that's illegal. I don't know if it's illegal to impersonate somebody that's not actually the president. Is it illegal to pretend to be the president? Yes. Is it illegal to steal the election? Yes. That's treason. But that's a good question. Hollywood can make body doubles with masks. All you have to do is compare pictures of eye color and earlobes. Yeah, but people can wear contacts. I mean, I have a cousin who does that. She changes her eye color. I think it's Joe. He just has dementia face. Wait, do people's faces change with dementia? But do their earlobes change with dementia? Someone said there was a double, but it's his voice. Look how young his hands look compared to his face. The truth is, I hardly know what to believe anymore. I'm right there with you. Earlobes are attached after the facelift. Okay. All right. The chin line is different. I just feel like there's a fundamental change in the shape of the face. That's what is so strange to me. But okay, different color eyes could be contacts, guys. Yeah, I think, you know, the question here isn't whether somebody's impersonating the president. The question is, is anybody gonna, finally face the fact that they stole the election? That's the real question here. I know it's coming. I know that we're gonna see this come out. The truth is coming out. Um, so, Kamala is impersonating being a proper lady. Honestly, you guys, Kamala stands like a man. I mean, if you look at Kamala standing there behind Joe with her hands folded and the way she stands, and then go look at like a ball player standing on the sidelines, can you tell me if there's any difference? I mean, the neck, everything. Like, I don't know what that is, but anyway, I'm just saying. Um, Yeah, some people don't notice. Some people are so busy still focusing on the distraction of the Rona. I mean, that's part of the reason that they did this, right? They keep people in fear. Now they've got Bill Gates out there telling people that none of this is going to change. Nothing can get back to normal until 2022. 5 months ago, he said the end of 2021. Now he's pushing it back a year. Is anybody clued into this? First, it was 15 days. So 15 days, no, 15 weeks, no, 15 months, no, 15. Like, seriously? And Did you notice that they're no longer talking about stop the spread? Did anybody notice that? I noticed it. They don't they don't talk about it because they have no intention of stopping it. I think that they wanna keep it going. I mean, that's pretty obvious because now there's, like, a virulent strain. Now there's, like, a different strain. Now it turns out that if you get the jab, you're actually, you're gonna have to get it year after year after year. They want this to keep going. That should be pretty obvious to everybody by now, okay? So, and now they wanna do this thing, they want you to have to get this every year. Yeah. Okay, I wanna talk about, let's see, they still have commercials saying it. Listen, I was really happy about something, a small thing, a small victory in my county. And that is that the lake that I go to, I'm not gonna say the name of it because I don't want anybody to show up there, because last year it was overrun by people from all over the state and out of state, and it's a little tiny lake that most locals go to for fishing and kayaking, and it was like Central Park. And so they had those distancing signs up everywhere. They had giant, like, banner signs up that said, 6 feet apart, and they had it in 2 languages, and then they had big no swimming signs, and, like, it was insane, and they had signs on the bathrooms. I mean, this is like a local regional fishing lake with a bathroom with, like, 2 stalls. They redid the bathrooms, they took out the sinks, they took out the stalls, they made, like, this sanitized box for the bathrooms, and then they had these giant signs that said, 6 feet apart. I'm like, "Nobody's gonna be here. It's a one-person bathroom, and we're out in nature. What do you think, people are crowding at the door?" Oh, and then when it was crowded in the beginning, and the place was like Central Park, the bathrooms were locked. So you know what people were doing then. Super sanitary, going in the woods behind the bathrooms. Like, no porta potties. It was ridiculous. Anyway, I digress. So what happened is that um, they had these signs up, and toward the end of the summer into the fall, somebody started taking the signs down. And, um, and I was glad to see that. And so when when it came time, I was thinking, "Okay, what's gonna happen this year? Is it gonna be plastered again?" I hope not. I hope they don't decide all of a sudden everything has to shut down, nobody can go swimming ever in their own town, and all the beaches are closed, because then people are gonna flock back to the lake. But I went by there to see what was, um, what was happening, and if they had put those signs up, or if they had, fortified the place again. And I was so happy to see there isn't a single sign at my little lake where I go paddling. Nothing. So good. I know. That's a little small victory. I'm very happy to see that. And yeah. So it's the little things. And so, people need to start taking back their spaces. People need to start taking it back. I mean, if those signs disappeared from places, I don't know. I'm just saying. Um, yeah, it is. It was a really good feeling to go there and have those signs gone and not replaced. Just so good. Um, Tommy on Facebook, uh, you are the change. Take off the mask, take back your sovereignty, and walk into a store. That's how it starts. Okay. So let me see. I wanted to show. Oh, hold on a second. Todd is posting in Telegram. Where are you, Todd? Media alert. Daddy, aka President Trump, is doing an interview with Laura Ingram on tonight on Fox. If Todd were watching my show right now, he would have already heard that. Somebody go tell Todd. Um, take us on an outdoor adventure there, Mary. I don't know if I will, because I kind of want to keep it private, to be honest. If you know what I mean. So yeah, take back your country. It's up to you. Take it back. Did you guys hear that the New Jersey gym guy won his lawsuit? They kept suing him. They kept suing him. He not suing him. They kept fining him. He had all these fines, and he refused to shut down his gym, and he just kept getting fined and fined and fined. I think he was the one that that turned his gym into a campaign headquarters. Do you remember that? Let me talk about the ship. Hold on a second. I want to talk about this. But I want to talk about the agenda that they have for I want to show you how they manipulate the media, and this is something that you can actually send to friends. This is something that I Googled. I will talk about the ship, okay? I Googled this a couple of days ago. Um, hey, Marianne, if you, Steve Hilton broke out the Fauci story. Sylvia, can you put a link to it? Can you send me a link? info@marygracemedia.com. All right, so listen to this. Um, listen, if you go to Google, um, type in mass shooting surge. Go do that. Not while I'm talking, but later. Mass shooting surge. And see how many headlines you get of mass shooting surge and how many cities that's happening in. And you tell me if the media in this country is independent and if there's not an agenda. Go tell me what you find when you do that. Mass shooting surge in Florida. This was all on in the beginning of March. Mass shooting surge in Florida as the nation faces record high. Mass shooting surge in Washington in Wisconsin's as nation faces record high. Mass shooting surge in Tennessee as nation faces record high. Literally the same headline in reference to all these different states. Literally 4 a.m. talking points. Same script. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And do you remember when they did that with the Rona? They had all the I think it was like you would put in a random number like 345, and it would say 345 cases of the virus in so and so place, and it was just it would give you headline after headline of numbers of the case. Um, oh, speaking of the face diaper, the governor of Arkansas took it a step further and said and mandated that cities and localities begin to phase out all of their restrictions. And Governor DeSantis hasn't even done that. So people are having trouble in Florida because they have tyrannical mayors. They have tyrannical mayors who are requiring this insanity. Don't do it. Take back your facial freedom. It's First Amendment right. You got to be able to talk. Okay, but let me talk to you about this ship. So this is kind of interesting. Who was watching George recently? Did anybody notice on the last George? Well, a while ago, George told us that they were going to be traveling, that the different Georges were going to be in different places. Do you remember that when George on George News chat told us that that they were going to be traveling and they wouldn't be having as many YouTube chats? So let me back up. George News had a live YouTube chat, and they said that they were going to be traveling overseas, and so the other day they mentioned that one of the Georges one was in Florida, one was in DC, and one was with the Fifth Fleet. Does anybody know where the Fifth Fleet is located? Fifth Fleet. Remember that? Who knows where the Fifth Fleet is located? All right, I'm going to tell you. So, the Fifth Fleet is a numbered fleet of the United States Navy. It has been responsible for naval forces in the Persian Gulf, Red Sea, Arabian Sea, and parts of the Indian Ocean since 1995. So it shares a commander and headquarters with U.S. Naval Forces Central Command in Bahrain. Now, who remembers where George said they were going to be? Do you guys remember that? Bahrain. And the interesting thing about that is that there's now a ship that's stuck in the Suez Canal. So George said that that they were going to be with the Fifth Fleet, right? And so he mentioned Bahrain at one time too. So I think this is interesting. So George tells us, yeah, so Manama is the capital of Bahrain. Okay. So George tells us that they're going to be away overseas. Yeah, so Manama is Bahrain. So George tells us they're going to be overseas. This is a couple weeks ago, a week and a half ago. I just want to tell you something. I want you to see if you can put together the pieces here. So George tells us that they're going to be away, that they're going to be overseas. And then we find out that it was going to be that they were going to be in Bahrain. And then just in the last, when did the ship go aground? The last 48 hours? We find out that a ship is blocking the Suez Canal. Isn't that interesting? It's very interesting. So it gets a little more interesting, not even 48 hours, 24 hours. This is very interesting because the ship is actually, it's called the Ever Given, and it's owned by a company called Evergreen. It's owned by a company called Evergreen. And does anybody remember who had the call sign or who had the Secret Service name of Evergreen? It got stuck on Tuesday. Thank you, Karen. So I think it was Tuesday night, right? Or maybe Tuesday night for us, Wednesday morning for them. Yeah. So who had the Secret Service name Evergreen? Yeah. And the call sign was HRC. So this is kind of interesting, isn't it? And it really makes you think because now this ship is stuck. But I was reading about what happened before the ship ran aground, and the captain reported that they lost control of the navigation. And then people reported that the ship actually went into an erratic traffic pattern that actually ended up drawing out the shape of male genitalia and then a person's bottom. Really strange, okay? Like random, you think. And then that and then when the ship started going again, it started to run aground and then it sped up and it ran aground really hard and got stuck. And so some of the Anons are theorizing that white hats actually got control of the ship and ran it aground. Now that would be very interesting because think about what happens on these container ships. What kind of cargo are they moving? What kind of cargo are they moving in these ships in addition to regular goods and yeah, merchandise? It could, yeah, I think Scott on YouTube, yeah, I think it was probably Space Force, yeah. So, yeah, they're moving human cargo. Speaking of conspiracy theories, Do you remember when it was verboten to talk about um, all of those things that people did to children or trafficking or anything like that, that everybody said that we were crazy, that we were conspiracy theorists, that we were nuts, that we couldn't talk about pizza, even though it was in the WikiLeaks? Um, so I don't know the outcome of what's going to happen here, but I do think that it's worth looking at closer. I think that it's interesting to think about the fact that George, our friends, told us that they were going to be in that part of the world, and the and that uh, and that now we're finding out that a ship that is owned by a company called Evergreen is now stuck, and it has the call signs HRC. I just, I mean, and we know what they carry in these ships. Now, here's something interesting because they're having to unload the ship, because when a ship runs aground, you want to, lighten the load and hope the ship can rise. I mean, these things, weigh tons and tons. And so they have to unload the cargo. Now imagine if you are um imagine if you are uh transporting contraband of any kind, and you don't want anybody to discover the contraband. What is going to be your reaction if your ship runs aground, and it runs aground so hard that you cannot reverse course and get out of the silt and the mud, that you have to unload, that you have to offload your ship and have probably inspectors aboard because there will be an incident report, etc. What are you going to be thinking if you are transporting uh, that those goods, that contraband, that cargo? Somebody just said that Mitch McConnell's wife's family, Elaine Chao, owns Evergreen. Where did you get that information? That's interesting. Is there a is who's reporting on that? That's interesting. Let me see if I let me Google it. Let me Google it. I'm gonna Google it. Uh, Let me see. Evergreen Group. Evergreen Group. Oh, it looks like it's a subsidiary of Evergreen Marine Corporation, is a Taiwanese container transportation and shipping company. Okay, that's Wikipedia. Hold on a second. Um, Taiwan based. Evergreen Shipping Agency. Evergreen Marine Corps. Of course, they have offices in Hong Kong. Interesting. About us. Let's see. Company profile, offices and agents. It's a pretty extensive website. I wonder if anybody could find that and see who owns it, who actually owns it, who sits on the board. Sometimes it's hard to find. You have to dig a little bit to find that. So uh okay, hold on a second. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. Sorry about that. Okay. So let's see. Well, we do know that McConnell's wife does have shipping ties to China. Her family owns ports in LA. Yeah. So I want to know, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it that there's a connection to Elaine Chow's family. I just I want to see that in writing from a credible source, not Snopes. Otherwise, we're just conspiracy theorists. All right, so here we go. I want to read you a couple of the George things, and then I need to go. A little bit of things that George said the other day. It was very encouraging. So George was on, what night was it? Tuesday night. I stayed up way too late. Okay, George was answering a lot of questions. George said, let's see. So there's three George newses. Okay, DJT is not on Telegram. We are not. So this is interesting. Somebody was asking, like, are we wasting time here, George? Like, what's going on? Is something going to happen? And they said, we are not wasting your time. Thank you, Dom, for finding that information. I appreciate it. Okay. On Facebook. All right. So somebody just said, I asked Alexa if Mitch and his wife Evergreen own Evergreen, and she has no answer. Well, duh. She's probably in on it. Okay. This is interesting. So they said damage control in effect, border and Biden conference. Biden conference may be postponed. It wasn't postponed. So that was interesting. Okay. So then this is the day that they told us that the Georges were in DC, Florida, and Manama. That's Bahrain. All right. Pompeo and Scavino are not on Telegram. They told us that many times. I know that Snopes is not owned by us. All right. Let's see. Now, this is interesting. There are so many more good people having meetings at Mar-a-Lago with DJT. Okay. If you can't chat on their Telegram, you're not blocked. Okay. There's a steady stream of patriots coming into Palm Beach for meetings. The work never stopped. He is still working for you. Anyone, they're saying this again, anyone giving you dates and times, then changing them and saying they talk to you know who, I would suggest you rethink your reasons for following them. And then this is interesting. DJT normally uses Atlantic Aviation to fly from privately. Now, if you're still on Instagram, keep checking the Mar-a-Lago location tag and the recent images. That was interesting. Okay. Okay, so then they reiterated 2 of us are here in the US and 1 George in Bahrain, but back end of month. Now, people have been asking about Biden and Harris, and people have been speculating about all their travels. And they said, we were telling you days in advance what Harris and Biden were doing regarding travel. And we were giving you updates live on aircraft, but people got upset, so we stopped. So maybe, yeah, let them give you news. Okay, we still have access to 1600. We have 1600 access. That's the White House. We only check in there if we have to for anything relevant. We will be jumping into a live Q&A COVID press conference tomorrow around 11 a.m. All right, so that was Tuesday, so the press conference would have been Wednesday. Anything we post on Telegram regarding Biden and co. is because we think it's info you need to have. They're telling you to research this stuff and pay attention to their Telegram. George is in DC, Florida, and Manama, Fifth Fleet at the moment. Okay. People were asking about emergency broadcast system, like, when are we gonna get it? And I'm not sure I understand the wording on this, but I think I do. Uh, um, Testing done in random locations frequently. EBS testing done in random locations frequently. Easier to say the real thing is a fake when it happens. Okay. Florida will be a very significant part. This is interesting. Florida will be a very, very significant part of American history. The best is yet to come. Um, and then it says, yes, we're winning. I promise you that. All right. And then they give the double crossed swords. And I think that, okay. Follow Mar-a-Lago location tags on Instagram and pay attention to the political figures stopping by. And then how many world leaders openly made fun of Sleepy Joe in the last 10 days? The world is watching. Okay. So, somebody just commented that CJ Truth thinks George is grifting. I disagree because George has a verified Telegram channel, and oh, Pat is verifying the thing about the EBS. A person kept asking why she had many EBS tests on one day, and he answered her. Okay, I've muted that person because they asked the same question like 100 times. I thought it was just a bot. All right. So I don't think that George is grifting. I've seen the grifters, I've seen the fakers, like I the Spy, and I don't think this is one of them. It would be very hard to grift on a verified channel. That would be kind of hard. And to have the screenshots. I mean, they've done a lot of verification of who they are, especially when they first started posting. They put screenshots of White House communiques, for their news organization and that kind of thing. So we'll see, but I don't think that that is the case. I really don't. Um, they are verified. So yeah, so just keep that in mind. Um, uh, okay. All right. So, okay, somebody's asking about the Instagram account. No, listen, it's not an account for Mar-a-Lago. It's location markers. So when people post stories or photos from Mar-a-Lago or about Mar-a-Lago, they will tag the location. So you're searching on Instagram for location tags to Mar-a-Lago. So that's the distinction. I believe that Trump will be back. 2022 and 2024. No, everybody keeps asking him, "Are you running in 2024?" He never conceded. He never conceded the election. And he evades the question. And people know it's Mar-a-Lago. It's three separate things. Mar-a-Lago. Not You can search Mar-a-Lago or you can search MAR separate word A, separate word Lago with dashes in between. Okay. So but here's the thing. When the president was doing his interview the other day, I think it was the one that he did on Fox News with Harris Faulkner, which was so funny. She was the one that said, why did you feel the need to weigh in on what President Biden is doing, the resident in chief? He goes, well, in fairness, you called me. That was so funny. And she was like, okay. And so, um, all right. Now, everybody wishes it would be sooner, but things have to play out. Okay. So I know I'm right. I know I'm right. I know I'm right. One thing, it's kind of interesting. Look around. Look around you and see if you can think of one thing that this resident in chief and this administration, this so-called administration, has done for the American people. Like, what have they done that helps people? The gas prices going up, that's like a tax increase. And and the sad thing is that it actually affects the poor more than the rich. That's a disproportionate targeted tax increase. Think about that because, if you're driving your car and your gas goes up, let's say that you make, you know, um, $1,500 a month and the gas prices go up by 25%, which they already have, and you're paying 25% more to fill up your car, who is that going to affect proportionately more? Uh, is it relatively more? It's a much bigger um, net effect on the poor than it is on the rich, because for that's a big difference. A difference of $100 a month in gas is the difference between paying for groceries, paying for clothes for your kids, when you're poor, when you're living at um when you're like the working poor. So, well, right now it looks like they've destroyed what took years to build, but I think it's temporary. And I think that the public has to see this. That's what I think. It's not fun, but I think that it has to it has to be um seen, you know? That's the problem. Okay. Uh so just filled my tank, $10 more than a few months ago. Now going back to work and school, it will need to be filled a lot more. Exactly. When gas goes up, everything goes up. Yep. Yep. Of course the poor and the middle class are bearing the brunt of it. That's the whole point. Just remembered where you got your evergreen info, a show by Good Dog. What was the source though? So, all right. What time is it? Oh gosh, I went overtime. Listen, I'll be back on Monday. Monday at 5:30 Eastern, I will be on air. And make sure, if you haven't already, that you write to me and get a voucher for superfoods. You can save over $100 off of a 30-day supply so that you can do a superfoods reset, superfoods transformation. So if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to get rid of the brain fog, the coronavirus weight, or in whatever way you see that, please send me an email, info@marygracemedia.com, so that you can get that voucher. We also have CBD oil, and I always forget to tell people that if you buy the multi-pack of CBD oil, you're going to save over $100 off, and you're going to get free shipping. So that's actually a really good deal. And so info@marygracemedia.com is how you're going to get that voucher. Yeah, if you want to get the juice bar, you can also get a voucher for that. So info@marygracemedia.com. Write to me so that you can get that, and you can save money. I don't know if I'm going to do a walk and talk this weekend. Uh, so we'll see. But um, yeah, so you can save on the superfoods, and so you can get a coupon code. And if you haven't, it doesn't have to be just the reset, but if you buy the reset pack, you're saving over $100 off that pack. So, but if you got a voucher a while back and you're not sure if it still works, a coupon code, just write to me, info@marygracemedia.com, and I'll help you get that sorted out. And if you ordered a long time ago and you haven't ordered in quite a while and you want to reorder, make sure that you send me an email, info@marygracemedia.com, and I'll help you figure it out. Okay. So I will be back Make sure that you're following the channel. Also, if you want to support the channel, go to marygracemedia.com and go to marygracemedia.com and click on support, and you can do that. Joanne is asking, how about a paddle and a talk? Nope, I don't bring my phone on my board. That's my me time. Sorry, I don't do that. Um, but a 3-day weekend. What's Monday? Is Monday a holiday? Oh, you're just telling me to have a okay, got it. Yeah, so I'm on Cloud Hub too. Thank you, Linda. Channel 111, Cloud Hub channel 111, and YouTube right here, Mary Grace Media, Instagram, Mary Grace Media, Facebook, Mary Grace Media, Periscope, Real Mary Grace. And so make sure you're subscribing and following and turn on your notifications and get your superfoods so that you can spring into wellness and get healthy. It's info@marygracemedia.com for that. Have a good evening, everybody. It was great to see you all and to have this little chat.